Hello, this is Neville with our guided tour through the New Testament. We're looking at the 26th guided tour, Matthew chapter 23. Jesus has several woes here, 7 woes to be precise, with the Pharisees. He wails over Jerusalem, wants to protect them, and wants to keep them under his wings. So I suppose woes, wails, and wings could be a possible title. God changing us from the inside, another one. This is still towards the closing ministry of Jesus at Jerusalem. The outline, we have these 2 main areas, then the judgment and the grieving of Jesus. First of all, then, the anger of Jesus. We see that he publicly condemns the Pharisees. There are different stages of this. Jesus also personally condemns the Pharisees, first judgment, second judgment, and so on. And then there is Jesus having anguish over Jerusalem, what he desires to do for Jerusalem, the denial and then the desolation of what Jesus has to do. Then we get our English Standard Version, chapter 23, verse 1. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. So practice and observe whatever they tell you, but not what they do. For they preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to move them with their finger. They do all their deeds to be seen by others, for they make their phylacteries broad, and their fringes long, and they love the places of honor at feasts, and the best seats in the synagogue, and greetings in the marketplace, and being called Rabbi by others." By the way, Rabbi just means teacher. "But you are not to be called Rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers." The obvious question we need to ask ourselves right here is, should we give preachers titles? Well, seems like we cannot even call a preacher teacher. Never mind pastor, reverend, father, or any of the other man-made titles we've come up with. Verse 9, "And call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father who is in heaven." Obviously, Jesus is talking about a father, not your earthly father, but father as a religious title again. "Neither be called instructors." This could be leader or teacher here. "Neither be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Christ. The greatest among you shall be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." In other words, if you are in the business of asking people to call you by a religious title, you are in a whole heap of trouble here. "For you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces, for you neither enter yourself nor allow those who would enter to gain in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you travel across sea and land to make a single proselyte, and when he becomes a proselyte, you make him twice as much a child of hell as yourselves. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, if anyone swears by the temple, it is nothing, but if anyone swears by the gold of the temple, he is bound by his oath." And making their own laws, adding to the Bible, in other words. "You blind fools! For which is greater, the gold or the temple that has made the gold sacred? And you say, if anyone swears by the altar, it is nothing. But if anyone swears by the gift that is on the altar, he is bound by his oath. You blind men! For which is greater, the gift on the altar that makes the gift sacred? So whoever swears by the altar swears by it and by everything on it. And whoever swears by the temple swears by it and by him who dwells in it. And whoever swears by heaven swears by the throne of God and by him who sits upon it." Verse 23. "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you tithe mint and dill and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matter of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. These you ought to have done without neglecting the others." Jesus does not have a problem with tithing. He has a problem with how they were so scrupulous about it, and then to leave other things off. Verse 24. "You blind guides, straining out the gnat and swallowing a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside They are full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and the plate, that the outside also may be clean. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones, and all uncleanness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you build the tombs of the prophets, and decorate the monuments of the righteous, saying, If we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in the shedding blood of the prophets. Thus you witness against yourselves that you are sons of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up, then, the measure of your fathers, you serpents, you brood of vipers. How are you to escape being sentenced to hell? Therefore, I send you prophets and wise men and scribes, some of whom you will kill and crucify, and some you will flog in your synagogues and persecute from town to town, so that you may come so that on you may come all the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of the innocent Abel to the blood of Zechariah the son of Barachiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it! How often would I have gathered your children together, as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you would not. See, your house is left to you desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again, until you say, Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. An amazing section of Scripture, how Jesus would look towards those who believe they are sacred, who believe that they are doing the will of God, but in fact are steering away from the will of God and binding by having religious titles and adding to the word binding things on people. Jesus would rather have us as preachers get out of the way so that he can be the preacher, so that he, as the song says, can take us under his wings. Under his wings I am safely abiding. Though the night deepens and the tempests are wild, still I can trust him. I know he will keep me. He has redeemed me, and I am his child. The refrain says, under his wings, who from his love can sever? Under his wings my soul shall abide, safely abide forever. God bless you as you look towards Jesus, and only Jesus, as your high priest, as your preacher, as your shepherd. God bless you in this walk.